All right, so get ready because today we are going deep, really deep into this research paper, and it's changing how we think about intelligence.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing, I'll tell you that.
Not just intelligence on like one level, but like across time, multiple time scales.
Yeah.
So the paper, and it's a mouthful, it's called System 0123, Quad Process Theory for Multi-Timescale Embodied Collective Cognitive Systems.
Itchy, right.
Yeah, super catchy.
But don't worry, we'll break it down.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, so you, the listener, can really get what these guys are talking about and how this model of intelligence is really different.
Yeah, like way different than how we normally think about, thinking.
Right.
Like you probably heard, like thinking fast and slow,
Yeah.
right? There's like dual process theory.
Yeah.
System one is like our quick gut feeling reactions. And system two is that slow, deliberate, like really thinking about it.
Right, yeah, like grabbing your favorite snack without even thinking. That's system one.
Yeah.
But if you're deciding like where to invest your money, that's system two for sure. But this paper's saying, hold on a second, there's more to it.
There's more to the story.
Yeah.
They're introducing these two more systems, system 0 and system 3.
Okay.
And they make a more complete picture.
All right, so system 0, tell me about it.
So this is all about what they call embodied intelligence.
Okay.
It's basically saying that our bodies are intelligent too,
What?
not just our brains.
Okay.
That's kind of wild, right? But like system 0 is how our bodies interact with the world. And it happens so fast,
Yeah.
you don't even realize it.
So it's not just about what's going on up here.
Right.
It's like our bodies are thinking too.
Yeah.
Give me an example.
Okay, so like imagine a soft robotic gripper. And it can pick up all sorts of objects just by conforming to their shape.
Okay.
It's not doing calculations in its head or whatever. It's just the form is the function,
Right, yeah.
That's system 0. That's what they call morphological computation.
Okay.
The body itself is doing the computing.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Right. It's wild. And this is happening all the time.
Yeah.
Like the way we balance when we walk.
Yeah.
Or how our hands just like grab things.
Okay, so we have system 0 happening super fast, almost like a reflex.
Yeah.
Now, what about system 3? Where does that fit in?
All right. So that's the opposite end of the spectrum.
Okay.
This is where it gets really big picture.
Okay.
System 3 is all about collective intelligence.
Oh, okay.
So think about like the intelligence of groups, societies,
Okay.
cultures over long periods.
So like the evolution of language, like how we talk?
Yeah.
Or like social norms?
Right, exactly.
That stuff doesn't just appear in one person's mind.
No, it's like it emerges.
Yeah.
The paper talks about this thing called collective predictive coding.
Okay.
It's a mouthful, I know, but
Yeah.
it basically means that like groups of people develop a shared model of the world,
Okay.
through communicating and culture and language.
So it's like a shared intelligence.
Yeah, like a shared intelligence.
That comes from us talking to each other.
Exactly.
Or many, many years.
Over generations, yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this is like way bigger than just me being smart or you being smart. It's
Yeah.
like a whole nother level.
It's like a whole nother thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And to explain how these systems all operate on different timescales, the paper talks about this philosopher, Henri Bergson.
Okay.
Now, I know it might sound a little out there, but
Philosophy and cognitive science, all right.
it all connects, trust me.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So Bergson, he believed that time isn't just like one universal clock,
Okay.
There are multiple timescales happening, like all at once,
Okay.
from those super fast reactions in System 0 to the slow evolution of cultures in System 3.
Okay.
Like it's a symphony with different instruments all playing at different tempos.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good analogy.
Right.
Yeah, so we have these 4 systems. They're working on different levels, different speeds.
Yeah.
But how do they actually interact?
Good question. So the paper says that each system builds on the one before it.
Okay.
System 0, with that embodied intelligence, provides the raw data.
Okay.
System 1 takes that data and makes these quick judgments based on our past experiences.
Okay, and then system 2 comes in to slow things down.
Right, exactly.
You get through.
Yeah, System 2 has access to what Bergson called the thick present.
The thick present. Okay.
It's like System 2 can tap into more memories
Okay.
and possibilities than System 1.
So it's not just reacting in the moment. It's like you understand the whole context.
Yeah,
It's like what led up to this, what
Yeah.
might happen next.
Right, exactly, the consequences.
Yeah.
And the access to the thick present, that's what lets System 2 plan for the future, solve those complex problems, make deliberate choices.
But system 2 is still limited to like me, the individual, right?
Yeah.
That's where system 3 comes in.
That's where System 3 comes in.
To expand it beyond just one mind.
Exactly. System 3 takes the thick present and it just like explodes it outwards. to include the knowledge, the traditions, the innovations of generations.
Wow.
It's how we as a species learn and adapt over long periods.
This is seriously giving me like a whole new way to think about what it means to be intelligent.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's not just like how fast can my brain process information.
Right.
It's like this whole, like you said, symphony of body and mind.
Yeah, and collective experience.
Yeah, wow.
And it has all these crazy implications
Huh.
for things like AI research and robotics, even understanding consciousness itself.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. What kind of challenges and opportunities are we looking at with this model?
All right, let's dive in.
So we've got these 4 systems of intelligence all going at it, like a complex dance across different timescales.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep track of.
But how does this play out in the real world?
Yeah, good question.
Like, what does it mean for how we live, learn, even like how we make new tech?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. And the paper highlights some key areas where this model, it could be a real game changer.
Like what?
Well, let's start with AI research.
Okay, yeah.
I've always wondered if we're focusing too much on trying to get AI to think,
Yeah.
like that System 2 stuff.
Right.
But maybe we're missing out on that power of System 0.
Right, yeah.
That embodied intelligence.
That seems so fundamental to how we learn and
So, yeah.
interact with the world.
You're totally right, and the paper actually touches on that.
Does it?
A lot of current AI research, it's all about algorithms and data processing,
Right.
which is basically
Yeah.
just trying to copy the logic of System 2.
Yeah, like making AI that can solve equations or write code.
Right, exactly.
But what if AI had a body?
Whoa.
Like a way to actually like touch things, move around,
Yeah,
learn from those interactions,
that would be wild.
Yeah.
And the paper kind of hints at that, imagine AI that could learn to play a musical instrument,
Oh, yeah.
not just by analyzing the music,
Right.
but by actually feeling the vibrations.
Right. Like actually feeling the strings.
Yeah, and responding to the sound it makes.
That's a whole other level of understanding.
Totally. And it's not just about creativity either.
What else?
It's about problem solving.
Okay.
Think about robots that can navigate really complex environments.
Yeah.
Not by following instructions,
Right.
but by learning to adapt.
In real time.
Yeah, on the fly, just like we do.
That makes a lot of sense. This model is saying we need to rethink how we build AI.
Yeah,
Don't just focus on the brain,
right.
Think about the whole system,
The whole package.
the body, the environment, how they work together.
Exact.
That leads into robotics.
Yes.
Which is something that I'm super fascinated by.
Yeah, me too.
We're already seeing robots doing some pretty incredible stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, crazy stuff.
But what if they could learn and adapt like humans?
That would be amazing.
Not just individually, but as a group.
As a collective.
Yeah, imagine swarms of robots working together.
Right, oh, right.
To solve a problem.
Or robots that could collaborate with us
Oh, yeah.
seamlessly,
Yeah.
like a true partnership.
I wonder, though, how would that collective intelligence even work in a robot swarm?
Good question.
Would they need a robot language or something?
That's a really interesting question, and that's where System 3 gets really interesting.
Okay.
Maybe it wouldn't be language as we know it,
Right.
but some kind of communication protocol
Yeah.
where they can share information, coordinate their actions,
Right.
or maybe, just maybe, they could learn to understand our languages.
Whoa, and talk to us.
Yeah,
That would be wild.
a true collaboration.
Yeah.
Humans and machines working together.
So cool.
I know, right?
Ah.
It's mind-blowing.
But even if we figure out how to do that, how to give robots a body and collective intelligence,
Right.
there's still that big mystery. Consciousness.
Consciousness, the big one.
Could this model help us understand that?
It's possible, and that's one of the really exciting things about this paper.
Yeah.
If consciousness is really just something that emerges from these interacting systems,
Okay.
then maybe we could see it in robots.
Oh, wow.
Imagine a network of robots that not only work together,
Yeah.
but they develop a kind of shared awareness, like a sense of we.
That's both fascinating and kind of creepy.
Yeah, it is a little bit, right?
It makes you think about, what does it even mean to be conscious?
Exactly. And what are our responsibilities as the creators?
Right. Heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff. But that's why this model is so important.
Okay.
It's not just about making cooler robots.
Right.
It's about understanding intelligence itself
Yeah.
and what that means for us as humans.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It really is.
But before we move on, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
This concept of canalization.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
It really caught my attention.
It's super interesting.
Yeah. So as I understand it, it's like how our experiences and interactions create these channels or pathways that influence our thoughts, our actions.
Even our perceptions.
It's like our brains are being molded by the world around us.
You got it. It's a great way to put it.
So are you saying that we're not actually free to make our own choices?
Well, it's not that deterministic,
Okay.
but the paper does say that these channels, they create a bias.
Okay.
So certain thoughts and actions are more likely.
So it's like some paths are well-worn, easy to follow.
Yeah, like a well-trodden path.
And others are like harder to get to.
Exactly.
That's pretty profound.
It is. It's deep stuff.
So our past experiences, our culture, even the language we speak,
Yeah, it all plays a role.
they're all shaping how we see and interact with the world.
Absolutely. And it happens on multiple levels.
Like what?
You've got the physical level, right?
Okay.
Our bodies have evolved to move in certain ways.
Right.
Then there's the individual level.
Yeah.
Our personal experiences, they create unique pathways in our brains.
And then there's the collective level.
Right, where culture and language, they create these shared channels
Okay.
that influence how we think and behave.
So can you give me like a concrete example of how this canalization thing plays out in real life?
Sure, think about learning a new skill,
Okay.
like riding a bike.
Okay. Yeah.
At first, it's awkward, you're wobbly.
Yeah.
You have to think about every movement.
Right. You're using a lot of system 2 there.
Exactly, a lot of system too.
Yeah.
But as you practice, you create new pathways in your brain.
Okay.
Those movements become smoother, more automatic.
And eventually, you're just cruising. You don't even have to think about it.
Right, it's like second nature.
Like you're flowing down a well-worn channel.
Exactly.
Okay, so our brains are constantly rewiring themselves
Yeah, constantly adapting.
based on our experiences.
Yeah.
Creating these pathways that make certain thoughts and actions easier.
Exactly, more accessible.
And the paper says this happens in our social interactions too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like with social norms.
Social norms, yeah.
These unwritten rules.
Right, like how to behave in different situations.
We learn them by watching other people.
Observing, imitating.
Yeah, and sometimes someone just tells us straight up.
Explicit instruction.
And once we've got them, those norms become part of our landscape.
Yeah, they shape how we interact with each other.
It's almost like we're all following this shared map, right?
Yeah, like a social map.
With the right way to act all marked out.
Right, the approved routes.
But does that mean we're stuck?
Well, that's a good question.
Like, can we break free and make new paths?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because the paper says these channels, they're not static.
Okay.
They're constantly changing,
Oh, wow.
shaped and reshaped by new experiences, challenges.
Even our own choices.
Exactly. We're not just passive passengers.
Okay.
We can steer, change course, even create entirely new channels.
That's where creativity comes from.
Exactly.
When we step outside our comfort zone,
challenge those assumptions.
we're making new paths, new possibilities.
You got it. For ourselves and for others.
That's actually pretty empowering.
It is. It's hopeful.
So even though our past and our culture shape who we are,
Yeah.
we still have the power to change, to grow.
Absolutely. And the more we understand these processes,
Yeah.
the more we can use that power.
To create a better future.
Exactly. A future aligned with our values.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
It's not always easy.
it's not easy to break free from those patterns.
Especially when it comes to those really deep-seated beliefs.
Yeah, like cultural norms and belief systems.
So even if we create new paths for ourselves,
Right.
we're still part of this larger system.
Yeah, a system that can be resistant to change.
But right, so how do we change those bigger systems?
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
If we want a truly fair and just society,
Yeah.
we have to find ways to challenge those limiting beliefs.
And create new channels.
Exactly. Channels that allow for more diversity, more inclusion, more opportunity for everyone.
It's a big task.
It is
But this model gives us some tools
tools to understand how those systems work.
and how to change them.
Exactly.
This is heavy stuff.
It is, but it's important.
Yeah. And it brings us to another key part of the paper.
Okay, which one?
The idea that language itself is a form of canalization.
Ah, yes, language.
It's like language isn't just how we talk.
Right.
It's shaping our reality.
Yeah, it's shaping how we think.
Okay, I'm really interested to hear more about this.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, so this thick present thing, it's a bit mind-bending, but I think it's important to understanding how our minds work.
It really does challenge how we think about time. You know, normally we see the present as this fleeting moment.
Yeah, like a blink of an eye.
Yeah, like a tiny slice between the past and the future.
Right.
But Bergson, he said, our experience of now is actually much richer than that.
So it's not like a snapshot. It's more like a short film.
Yeah, exactly. More like a short film.
Okay, I can kind of see that, but how does that thick present relate to System 1 and System 2?
Good question. So the paper says the System 1, that's the fast intuitive system, it operates in a thin present.
Okay.
It's focused on reacting right away, like if you need to dodge something
Okay.
or grab something before it falls.
Yeah.
It doesn't have time to dig into memories or think about the future.
So System 1 is all about right now, this very second.
Exactly. Living in the moment.
But System 2 can tap into that thick present.
Right. System 2, the slower, more thoughtful system, has access to that.
So it can look back at memories, consider different options.
Yeah, and weigh the consequences.
Okay, so it's like System 2 can zoom out
Yeah.
and see the bigger picture.
Exactly. It's like having a wider lens.
Okay, so how does this play out when we make decisions?
Okay, let's say you're offered a piece of cake.
Ooh, cake.
System 1, driven by pure desire, would be like, eat it.
Cake is delicious.
Think is good.
Yeah.
But System 2 can step back and be like, wait a minute, you're trying to eat healthy.
Right. This isn't going to help my long-term goals.
Exactly. You can think about the consequences.
So System 1 wants it now, and System 2 is thinking about later.
You got it.
Okay, that's a really good example.
It highlights that difference.
So System 2 can use that thick present to plan for the future, be creative.
Yeah, it's like having a mental time machine.
Okay.
You can revisit the past, imagine the future,
All while still being present.
all within the present moment.
So this thick present, it's not just a fancy idea.
Right.
It affects how we make choices every day.
It affects everything we do.
Yeah, it explains why we sometimes do things we regret later.
Yeah, those impulsive moments, those System 1 hijack moments.
Where you just react without thinking.
Right. You get caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
And don't think about what might happen next.
But luckily, System 2 can come in and save the day.
System 2 to the rescue.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, we can actually train our minds to be more aware of this.
Oh, really?
Like to notice those impulses
Okay.
and give System 2 a chance to step in.
So we're not just stuck with these automatic reactions.
No, we have a choice.
We can learn to be in control.
We can be the masters of our minds.
I like that. It's empowering.
It is. It's all about self-awareness.
Yeah.
Building those mental muscles.
Okay.
Making choices that align with our values.
That makes sense.
And that's where things like mindfulness and meditation come in.
Okay.
They help us be more present,
Yeah.
observe our thoughts.
Without judgment.
Yeah, just observe, create space for System 2.
This is great. It's like we're getting a user manual for our brains.
Exactly. A user manual for the mind.
And it's constantly being updated, right?
Always evolving
As we learn more.
as we understand more about the brain.
Yeah. This quad process theory is just the start.
It's the tip of the iceberg.
It's been amazing exploring these 4 systems
It's been a journey.
and how they affect our lives.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Any final thoughts for our listeners as we wrap up this deep dive?
I think the big takeaway is that intelligence, it's not a fixed thing.
Okay.
It's a process. It's constantly changing.
Yeah.
It's about our bodies, our environment, our interactions.
The whole interconnected system.
Exactly. It's about understanding that complexity.
Yeah.
Embracing it.
Recognizing those unconscious processes.
Yeah, those things that are happening beneath the surface.
And using that knowledge to make better choices.
Choices that lead to a more fulfilling life.
Well said. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the quad process theory of cognition.
It's been a pleasure.
It's a topic that's sure to spark a lot of curiosity, and we encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep challenging those assumptions, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.